Hi there! My name's September, also known as 912, and I'm cooking an eggplant casserole today. This is easy. I'm going to be maybe writing down how much of everything I use, because I kind of just learned this growing up. My mom used to make it. Not sure where the recipe came from. And so I was asking a friend of mine about, I have eggplant. Do you like eggplant? And she said yes. And she's like, eggplant parmesan? I'm like, no, actually I'm going to do something different. So I'm just going to take her enough for herself. And this beef is real fatty, but eggplant likes to absorb that, and it'll absorb all that flavor. And I think I'm going to take out a little, but not all of the fat from this, because it'll make it unctuous. Everyone's had eggplant parmesan, right? Because you can get it in a restaurant. Mine is a little different than a restaurant because they tend to put way too much breading on it for me. There we go. Okay, I want to put some onion in here. My ingredients are going to be onion, eggplant, ground beef. I'm going to put some garlic, leftover rice. I'm going to put a can of diced tomatoes in here, and then the Parmesan cheese and soy sauce. Now, when I was talking to my friend, and she was like, eggplant parmesan? I'm like, no, actually. I told her what was in this, and she was like, say what? We got hi there. Be real careful. I won't be adding any salt to this, especially because my tomatoes aren't the no salt ones I usually get. You have to be real careful with your chops on this. I'm just getting onion flavor. Turn this down a little bit. So, man, I talked about all kinds of stuff, and my first stream attempt today, my mic had unpaired. Thanks, OBS. It's like the one time I don't check, I swear. You usually hear me at the beginning of the stream like, okay, let me check, because I have to scroll down to see the audio inputs where my lav mic is. And I make sure it's working, and the one time I didn't. Fortunately, my friend Stormy Sooner showed up and let me know, so I just restarted. So, should put this down. Garlic. Leftover rice is kind of a key component of this casserole. So, I made some yesterday. I tend to batch it and then keep it in the fridge in case I want to have stir fry some or whatever, but I actually had my son just like, hey, make a batch of rice for me. It's in the fridge. Ground beef, onion, garlic. Actually, one small, one clove. I'm going to be able to add this to my family cookbook because I'll recheck, but I'm pretty sure my big printed out cookbook, which is the result of confiscating all the recipe cards from my family because they kept calling me even though they had all the cards. And I made a book and distributed to them. They're mostly better about not calling me from recipes. Well, my mom doesn't, but we don't speak, so there's that. But I think I just made this, or I think I just learned this from watching. And like, I don't even remember, it was just a couple of years ago where it was like, man, it's not right. And I threw some tomato in there, and then all was right with the world. So, who knows which part of this I invented? Unless I'm completely misremembering it, it's in that cookbook somewhere. So, here we go. My eggplant's all cubed up. That time of year, eggplant. Turn this back up a little. And my onions got see-through. So eggplant likes to soak up grease. And if you've ever breaded it or floured it, I tend to just flour, not bread it when I make eggplant parmesan because I just don't like it full of bread. That's why I like never order it in a restaurant. If this pan turns out to be too big, I'm going to have to move it to a bigger one. I am theorizing I can get everything in this smaller Dutch oven. And if I do, it's a one-pot meal. I guess it's still technically a one-pot meal if I move it into a bigger Dutch oven. Which maybe I should have done just for ease of use, but eggplant shrinks down a lot and soaks up a lot of liquid. That's why, like when you make an eggplant parmesan, for instance, fry it up quick, but don't completely cook it. Let it finish cooking with your sauce and mozzarella cheese on top, because otherwise it'll just keep soaking up oil for a while. That's another good reason to salt your discs of eggplant when you make parmesan and let them sit and then rinse them off, because it'll draw out some moisture and let it well, not draw out. Well, it does draw out moisture, but it shrinks it up so that it doesn't soak up as much oil when you cook it too. So, cook. Yeah. Is it gonna shrink up enough? Is my current question. Probably. My other Dutch oven, I need one that's in between. With this one, and then I got a really big one. And I really wanted to do this one pot instead of moving it to a casserole dish. In the big one, it would be like the casserole itself would be less deep. And I'm really used to it being deep. And I do top it with Parmesan cheese. And I don't want to add too much salt. Because like I said, the Parmesan cheese and soy sauce, did I say in the stream, which are the seasonings in this, are both salty. So I don't want to add a lot of salt. Okay, this has soaked up every bit of the meat juice. So I'm going to do a first level of seasoning, start adding some soy sauce, and I should have measured. Not measuring yet. And pepper. And then I'm going to add some tomatoes. Pepper. About a teaspoon. And the tomatoes will also help break down. Do I want this whole can? Sure. Can't hurt. So they're going to soak up that liquid too, which is going to be nice to get the eggplant cooked and get more flavors incorporated into it. And then when the eggplant shrinks, I know it's absorbing stuff, it's shrinking. It's a thing. We're going to be able to fit some rice in here. It's already smelling like the eggplant casserole I know and love. So, but you have to give it enough liquid to cook. That's what the tomatoes do. And this is a 14.5 ounce diced tomatoes. If you don't have enough liquid in this, when you bake it, the eggplant doesn't really cook, and that's no good. A raw eggplant is just spongy and bitter. I'm going to preheat that to 350. And I'm going to get this to grab the pan so it could slide me around. Look, TJ Maxx has Halloween things. I got some new dish towels yesterday. Isn't cool? Yeah, Halloween or I'm going to move this so you can see how much liquid is in here, because we want this liquid to be able to be cooking that eggplant down in a little bit. And then soak it up, continue to soak it up. Put it in the oven. Let me show you what else I got, TJ Maxx. Otherwise, Halloween season, otherwise kitchen stock-up season for me. I got these cute towels and matching-ish-esque drying mats. My drying mats are pretty shot. These beautiful ones with skulls and roses, which match my dishes. If you've seen my dishes, if you're here, you've probably seen them. Where you go? I got Nightmare Before Christmas dishes, and I have like skulls with roses. But the skulls with roses, both of them keep chipping, and I was disappointed. I'm gonna have to check my TJ Maxx. I went to another town yesterday, and I'll tell you why in a minute. And I checked theirs, and they didn't have any dishware. And they had some Halloween stuff. They didn't have any dishware, and they didn't have any cool pots and pans that were spooky, like this. Let me put the lid on this just so you can see my cool spiderwebby Dutch oven. Now by eyeball, I'm just going to cook this a little more. I want, how do I explain this? My eggplant to look like, okay, to not keep looking like this, like white and still pretty hard. I want it to get to this, where it's like translucent and gives to the, it gives real easy. And then it'll continue to cook in the oven and get tender. But I do want to get like that whiteness out. Oh, the cauldron slow cooker. The algorithm knows me too, girl. So it came up the other day, and people were shaming the hell out of Crock-Pot because they promised it like a couple years ago or something, and they still have not. But there's one that's a different company has made one, and it sold out so fast. And where will I put it? I'll look for it later and try to put it in the Dine with 9 channel in my Discord. But I got on a waiting list for when the company that did make one comes back in stock, because by the time it popped up on TikTok, they were already sold out. But I can post that link so that hopefully you too can get on this list. Okay, a little bit more cooking, and then I'm going to get my rice in here and my cheese. Actually, I'm going to taste it. Not too salty, and that was only about a tablespoon. I feel like I usually put in way more soy sauce, but I will definitely be putting more in after the rice. And I'm going to actually write down how much rice I put in it. Writing down recipes. That's crazy. I need one of my assistants. But yeah, I will not be resisting that. And it's small-ish. It's kind of, I can't remember the size. And people are like, but you could use it for this and this and this. I don't care. We need to buy the small ones, and then maybe they'll make us bigger ones. I like in it, for me, like my small one, for most dishes I'm sharing, or taking to potluck or whatever, I use my big oval one. But my regular size, I don't know what regular size, probably, is it 4 quarts, 6 quarts? The most standard one. Mostly what I use that for anyway is, this one side of the eggplant doesn't want to cook. Let's turn the whole pot instead of trying to move your stuff. I use it for boozy eggnog and my grog. It's mulled cider with rum in it, spiced rum and stuff. And those are things I make when I have company, so that the cauldron is going to be like the perfect thing for that. Okay, so the reason I was in another town yesterday and didn't go to my own TJ Maxx to see how much Halloween they have going is I had put out a call on Facebook looking for figs because in the Caipirinha cocktail episode that Sean Weiland and I recorded recently of Tipple Theory, I just came across a ginger fig variation, and I need that in my life. And figs are coming in for some folks. Mine aren't yet. I think my fig is actually going to produce this year. Okay, this is where I want to put the rice in. But anyway, my friend Vinod called me, and there's 2 different varieties here. These big, giant ass ones, and that one's moldy. Great big ones and little bitty ones. But I said, come take as many figs as you want that are ripe. So, I went to pick them. And I gotta find that recipe variation of that cocktail again. But I think I'm gonna use a ginger liqueur I got that was made in Asheville, North Carolina, that I had a couple years ago. I spotted it locally during the hurricane and was like, uh-oh, I want this. I've been resisting buying it. Look how much that cooked down, by the way. Like, that pot was so full I could hardly stir it. My eggplant is all shrunk up. Oh boy, my son didn't fluff the rice before he put it away. I'm a failure as a teacher. Is this a half? Yeah, we'll start with a half a cup. I mean, it'll break apart when I put it in there, but for measuring purposes. Freaking kid. Probably going to be about a cup of rice, which is, a normal sized batch. I usually do it in 2-cup batches because I use a ton. But you don't want to overwhelm it with rice because it'll bury your flavors. But anyway, I bought this Asheville ginger liqueur, which I think is going to be my way to make this. Yeah. One more cup. So half a cup. So a cup of cooked rice. Children. I mean, and he used the Instant Pot to make it. He's got that, knows how to do that, although I suppose that's a bit of a cheat because it has a button for it, but child. Yeah, so about a cup of rice is what we're doing here. We'll mix that around, we're going to taste it, and we're going to adjust the seasonings, get our cheese and our more soy sauce certainly into it. Hear it. We have it with wheat beef that is preheated to 350, and I'll cook it for probably half an hour, and then throw some Parmesan on top, maybe 40 minutes. I'll look at it after 40. I think what I normally do is just throw it in for 40 and then throw the cheese on, some more cheese on top, and do a quick broil. But I might do it slightly different this time. Okay. I know it doesn't look beautiful. It tastes really good. Cool. I think it's partially the acidity in the tomato that also cuts through and removes the bitterness from the peel of the eggplant. I've never peeled my eggplant. And what we ground is, I need to be measuring spoon because I have kids like putting in weird places instead of, on the ring hanging up on a hook. Same place, I have 2 hooks hanging in my kitchen, one for I think it was less than a tablespoon I put in before actually, but we'll call it 2 for the recipe. I have 2 hooks. One's got a ring for measuring spoons and one has a ring for measuring cups. Can they end up back there after the dishes are done? Apparently freaking not. Okay. That's kind of a lot. I have to hope some of that gets soaked up because you do need the Parmesan cheese and shit. So I'm just using cheap Parmesan / Romano blend here. I really like Romano, so I always buy the blend. I've got fancier stuff for when I made the pesto. I'm gonna go, I need to find a third. I want a third of the cup. I don't want a full half cup. Or maybe a quarter. Let's go with a quarter. Quarter cup Parmesan Romano. For in it. And then we'll throw some on top at the end. So, and it'll probably take about a quarter cup to cover it. So, I guess technically this has a lot of the same ingredients as an eggplant parmesan, but with the tomato and the cheese, but very different cheese and very different situation that happens with the soy sauce and the texture of the rice. It's a very good casserole. And if I'm wrong and it is in the cookbook, I'm going to feel very silly, but I will still... Okay. Right now, it tastes salty, like I said, but all the salt is from these ingredients that are going to kind of even out as we roast this. This is why we bake it. This is why this isn't a one-pot meal you do on a stovetop and eat. Because as we bake it, more of the flavor is going to come out of the eggplant that's not completely cooked. When I bake it covered, we'll check it in half an hour. And the rice, being completely neutral, will absorb a lot of flavor. Like it wasn't even salted rice when we cooked it. So, what am I going to do with the figs? Well, first let me write down how much of this. Quarter cup. Did I write the Parmesan on here? Quarter cup in, quarter cup on. 350, half hour. And then I'm not going to do the broil thing. It's too risky. It's like that's a quick fix, but you can. Probably what I'm going to do is put it in, take off lid, top, and give it another 10 minutes at least. Okay. What will I do with the figs? Well, the drink I talked about, which was my main motivation for going to get those. And I'll probably do a little appetizer treat for myself. I might make it a meal for myself when the fam's having something I don't want. But I will split them and shove some goat cheese in there and wrap them in bacon and like put some in the toaster oven, just a couple, and then drizzle them with this pomegranate molasses. Too bad I don't have any plans to have guests. I've done this before, where I plate them up on a really cute plate. Great party dish. If I can get a different kind of figs that's coming in at the end of August, maybe I'll make them again for my friend Lori's birthday party. She's doing an 80s themed birthday party. How fun is that? Okay. I should sort through these figs a bit because they don't look great. They looked great yesterday. Holy moly. Like some kind of mold went completely nuts in here. That sucks. Get away. Get away. Okay. I'm going to give these a quick rinse. The ones that are so good. If I can find... Shit. I have to do that after stream. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray them with some apple cider vinegar and rinse them off. Hopefully stop them from continuing to disappear so quick. But thanks again to Vinod and Mr. Thomas for letting me go pick figs. I just needed a few, but boy oh boy, he was trying to get me to take more and more and more and come back anytime. If I were going to make a jam, I would have done that, but I've never made fig jam. Probably should. It would save me buying it when I do charcuterie at home, because I do like it for charcuterie. But it's not something I use all the time, so that I think about it. But I did offer, like, if you want jam made, I will make it. Like, get someone else to climb this ladder. You should see these fig trees. They were just like huge, and there's like 3 of them. So if you get someone else to harvest all these figs, I'll make you jam. But I just need a little. You know what I'm gonna do? Because man, in my head now, I keep saying this isn't in the cookbook, but now I'm like, I think I might be wrong, and I think the recipe. I think I remember who the recipe came from. Like a neighbor I had growing up. Which, why not? If it is, that's fine too, because I'll be able to check my calculations against what the recipe said. And look at that. That casserole is going to be mostly done. We're going to not have to go too long over to get it to the point where we're tasting. Good to know. Firehouse barbecue is something that if I ever meet my goals, if people go to my throne list or my Amazon, hey Rummy, and I ever get a GoPro, then I can go outside and show you this firehouse barbecue recipe that my family loves, and maybe hang out when we're smoking. By the way, I went to the chef's tour for the first time recently, and oh my god, I think I posted pictures in the Discord, but I got really, really, really good deals on stuff. If you have the space, the money to buy in bulk and the space to store it, Dude. I got a whole strip loin for $7.99 a pound. My local grocery store, Food Lion, had strip steaks on sale for $10.99 a pound. They're normally like $12.99 a pound. So for $7.99 a pound, I cut it up. I turned it into steaks. I usually pay about $4.99 a pound for my pork belly. I get pork belly, I think $3.59 a pound, something like that. And for me, there wasn't a lot of waste because I trimmed it, but the fat cap overlay that I took off, I froze for when I make sausage. Because if I get like venison or something, I need to add pork fat instead of buying butts, which is the right proportion that I usually buy when I make pork sausages. I did get a haircut a little while ago. I hate it. It was really hot. and I wanted to get rid of that final fake color in there, so I just kind of had it cut off, and she did not do it like the picture I got, but that's okay. Hair grows out. So anyway, I butchered this pork belly. It was like 11.5 pound slab of pork belly, and I was able to do like a 2-pound bag of little niblets that will make for dinner one night in the air fryer or in a more long form hot pot type stewing. And I've got 2 really nice several pound slabs that are curing now, which reminds me I have to turn them over today, that I'll be smoking in a week. What else did we get? And I got ribs, baby back ribs, really like $1.69 a pound or something. I was able to butcher those up into 2 dinners for all of us and 1 dinner for 2 of us. So yeah, the chef store, and it's weird how they do it. It's like U.S. chef apostrophe store, like, but really, really good deals. Yeah, and if I ever need any food service type stuff, I also got like giant can of tomatoes because I was making 2 batches of chili, one for my house and one for my friend Lori, who's still recovering from surgery. But anyway, if I ever meet my goals on my throne wish list, or somebody gets me a GoPro, we'll be doing that, and like sitting out and smoking stuff and doing grilling recipes. Mighty Duck. This is Alton Brown's Mighty Duck recipe, which is how I do duck forever now. It's not how I did it growing up, but there's another eggplant recipe. It's stuffed with bacon, ground beef, rice, onion gravy mix. Ew. Worcester. Yeah, this is a recipe from my mom. I don't remember actually ever eating. This I've made, plantation ham pie. After the holidays, I may do another like leftovers stream. Plantation ham pie is a really great leftovers recipe with ham. I've got a really good, I like to turn my leftover turkey stuffing into waffles. Good to hear. Rummy has moved to Illinois. Woo! There's a new bed. I need a new bed, I think. I'm just going through, we've already got the casserole in the oven, and I'm looking for whether I'm crazy and this recipe is in this cookbook, which is a collection of my family's recipe cards. There's so many short ribs recipes in here. I thought it wasn't, but I'm second guessing myself. I am remembering that we got the recipe from Sharon Beam, who is our neighbor in Lockport, New York, who's the grandmother of my first baby that I gave for adoption. So yeah, there's all that trauma there. Maybe that's why I forgot if it's in here. Sweet and sour cabbage rolls is something I've never made this version. It's got ginger snaps and raisins in it, but it was interesting enough that I saved this. I got it from like a cookbook I found when I was working for the mayor's office as public service, but that's a whole other story. Beef pea pods, short ribs. I mean, it should be here in the main dishes if it's here. Also, some of these are duplicated because it was getting really worn out and I just printed out a whole new thing, and I really need to invest in a new cookbook. A cookbook app. I originally put all my recipes into AppleWorks, and so it's got these categories, main course, beef, you could sort. And then Apple abandoned the software. My son extracted the data so I can print it. And these ones that I added later are just in a Google Doc somewhere that I share with the family for when I update, and they can print out and put the page in their book. But it's not great for using digitally and sorting out. This sesame shrimp recipe I should do one day because I made this up. It was my most popular recipe online at sparkrecipes.com. Spark Recipes, also now defunct, and they took all the damn recipes down. And that's where the competition version of my butternut squash recipe is, that has the carrots and everything, because I needed to get the nutritional information to be able to submit with it. This chicken curry recipe. Oh, Natalie, are you still here? You'd love this. Cajun turkey noodle soup. Never done that. I like turkey rice soup. I don't like noodles in my soup, but I mean, Cajun sounds great, and that could be definitely an exception. This is the first curry I made, and it's, curry. This is very white curry. It's very cheater. It's got bell pepper, onion, garlic, mushrooms, and then you put flour, almonds, just curry powder. Like a teaspoon of curry just means that yellow powder. 2 cups of tomatoes, chicken stock, sour cream, and cooked chicken. And I just cook it. It's a stovetop curry. It's good. I ate it for years and years, but it's just not as good and authentic as the stuff I make now that I learned better. But yeah, I should do this one day. People did ask me for a one pot. I mean, I serve it over rice, but I guess you could just eat it. And this is a very accessible of ingredients. You don't have to make your masala ahead. I should be making notes. Yes, I like coconut milk curry. Thai curry is like some of my favorite. But sometimes I want Indian curry. General Tso's. This recipe I found online that's really good. Some stuff. Alright. The pierogi recipe I got from Kathy. Barbecue chicken from my papa. We can't do outdoor stuff. I need to find this. I feel like... Oh, there's another Sharon Beam recipe though. John Basati. Pork sausage, onion, Velveeta, egg noodles, and tomato soup. The other recipe we got from her was the fondue with the Velveeta in it. I don't know who Marcella Benz is, but there's a casserole in here from her. Arizona chicken is from Karen Harrison. That was my dad's best friend's wife. I have a chocolate curry recipe in here that with white chocolate and shrimp. I know it sounds weird. It's really good. I must have changed it enough that I put my name on it, because it's got my name on it. My mom's scalloped Newburgh recipe, which is pretty freaking good. Carbonara. And Fletcher's bookmark. Look, he has a little sticky note that he wrote bookmark on. Team Turkey. Yeah, you can. The plantation hot ham pie I've also done with turkey. So it's very much like a chicken and dumpling situation where you're doing that with the making chicken into a creamy gravy and a bunch of vegetables. But the parsley pinwheels are kind of the key for both of these dishes. The ham one, you also add green pepper that really adds to the flavor, but it's basically like a turkey pie, but use Bisquick mix to roll out into a dough and put fresh parsley, and then you roll it up kind of like a cinnamon roll, but you're doing it with parsley, and cut that into discs and put it all over the top and bake it. It's a really great leftover use. Butternut squash gnocchi, spinach gnocchi. I did a whole lot of gnocchi experimentation in the 90s. That all made it in here. There's a Fiesta meatloaf, which is H.J. Heinz Company. There's green pepper in it. Shit. My grandmother's... I'm not finding it. All right. I guess I was right. The actual recipe for this eggplant casserole is not... Yes. Freezing Popeyes is great. I don't know that I'd freeze... I'd freeze dough, but I don't know if I'd freeze the pinwheels. I'm the only one in my house that's Team Ham. Okay, my cookie. This is my best cutout recipe, and it was hanging out in front of the cookbook because I took a picture of it. It's torn. For Eat at Dad's, was looking for a rollout recipe that isn't hard and stupid. Sorry, but man, I'm not gonna refrigerate dough. It's just not gonna happen. And so many, like the sugar cookie recipes in here that were from my grandma, you had to like refrigerate the dough overnight or for a couple hours and chill the dough, blah blah blah. Well, when my oldest son was little, his grandma on his dad's side gave me this recipe from, she said she got it from the Union Sun and Journal, which was the little paper in my hometown of Lockport. I know I always say Buffalo. It's a suburb. Close enough. And I really grew up and owned Buffalo as a teen. So, she gave me this Kris Kringle cutouts recipe that is freaking magic. It tastes good. It's those perfect sugar cookies you get where they're like a little crisp on the outside, but you bite into them and they're soft on the inside. You could cook them more and they get harder, but they're hard enough and solid enough that they frost beautifully. Like I like to use like butter frosting. And you could use royal icing, but royal icing is another one of those. That stuff's a pain in the ass. But they're so good and they're easy as hell. You throw the stuff in your KitchenAid or in a bowl, you mix it up, you've got a dough, you roll it out, you cut them, you bake them. Like all at once, and they're just perfect every time. I don't know what the magic is where you don't have to refrigerate it and all that bullshit. I suspect it's the cream of tartar and something that it does chemically to everything. I don't know. I don't care what the science is on that one. I'm not a food scientist, but they're so easy. And he was looking for, he does a lot of cookies. He has a cookie club that I won like 3 times. He sent me cookies by just getting entries, by watching and stuff. And he wanted a sugar cookie recipe that cutout recipe that you didn't have to chill, and I was like, I got you, bro. So I can't wait to see him make them. I love to support another food streamer. I've mentioned several times that and I can always do him on my stream too at some point, but I've mentioned several times that he's kind of my current favorite, and he asked me to DM it, so it'll be fun to watch him make it and see someone else go, oh my god, that was easy. When so many people make cutouts at Christmas and it's fun, but like having a recipe like this where it's delicious, the texture's right, and it's quick enough that you can just do the whole process with kids is great for like memory making for families. That's like cooking. I wish I had more of growing up instead of doing the Latchkey Kid Culinary School. I do a few things my mom taught me. I obviously got inspired to learn to make sausage by seeing my dad do it, even though he didn't teach me. He supported the hobby or the learning and my process later in life when he discovered I was carrying the tradition on. But, like, I love cooking with my kids. One of the first things on my YouTube channel, if you look way back, is me cooking with my son Connor, and he is trained with me. I can't really cook with my youngest. I've showed him how to do a few things, but he's like almost ARFID level food disorders with his autism, and he also has like I can't have anyone else in the kitchen with me. He gets very intense about having anyone close. So I unfortunately can't cook with him. Okay, babe, thank you for stopping in. Love you, Rummy. You can ping me anytime. Great cook, lousy teacher. Your mom. Okay, yeah. Stormy, that's you can have very different philosophies, right? Yeah. Understand. How to teach something really, really matters. Some people have a knack for teaching, some don't. I don't know that I do. I mean, no, I do. I've had people approach me to like develop trainings for people for stuff, so I guess I am. I don't know if I'm as good as Rob. He is great with like mentoring. He's had these interns for a while now. And I love hearing him and his approach to that kind of thing. But I'm curious what you mean by different philosophies. I saw a TikTok a couple weeks ago and it was kind of food related, right? It looked like they were a home ec teacher or kitchen. They were in a kitchen and they were trying to train somebody new who never worked in a kitchen. And they had the big commercial thing of tomatoes, like I got the other day at US Foods, right? They're like the 12-pound, they call them, I think, cans. And the industrial can openers, like that you use in a restaurant when you do big stuff, is this long piece of metal, and it's clamped to the counter, and you put the can up against it, and you go shunk into the top, and then it's got a handle on the top that you have to grab and fold down, and then turn it this way. And this guy is telling this kid to do it, like, and his instructions were terrible. Like, no, put it down. Now turn it. No, you gotta put it down first. And he's yelling at this kid and like, okay, and then like this, and then and now turn it. And so the kid grabs the handle on top of the crank, because you can't really tell. If you've ever used one of these, you know what I'm talking about. And the kid turns the handle like with his fingers. And the guy starts yelling at him again, no, like you're an idiot, and you have to crank it. Now, there are like many reasons that this was terrible teaching. This kid wasn't stupid. That guy has worked in restaurants and knew how to do it forever, and if you don't know how to use this thing, and it reminded me very much of like when the kid grabbed the little handle and he started to turn it like this, I was like, okay, this kid might also be on the spectrum. And I feel like if you're developing a training or you're teaching someone to do one, pretending they're on the spectrum or approaching anyone as if just they've never seen this before is always a good tactic for teaching a method. When I did a thing where I volunteered to take autistic adults and show them how to play and get Pokemon Go, we went to a local park where there's a lot of stops. We talked about the safety issues of crossing roads. But one of the things, so if you've ever played Pokemon Go, you get these stops pop up, and it's a circle, right? It looks like a disc, but it just looks like a circle. And you're supposed to spin the stop. It says spin the stop. And several of the people in this group would do this finger motion with their hand instead of flicking it, which would spin it because it's on an axis. But when it's just sitting there, you can't really see it's on an axis. It looks like a circle if you're going to spin it. And I was like, the light bulb for me went off. I'm like, that makes perfect sense why they're having any trouble. And so I walked around, and one of the people who was helping me, I was like, hey, as we go to stops, check with the rest of the other group and see if they're able to spin, because some are doing a different motion. That does make perfect sense. You have to be very precise. Like, if anyone who's raised kids, this is, you can't give 3 instructions in a row and expect them to all be followed, right? You have to give one and then the next. And if you don't use the right phrasing from the way they're used to being reading directions or being told to do something, like this, just, I think to be a good teacher, to be a good trainer, you always have to be in mind of what people don't know, and just being precise when you're teaching something, and of course being kind. Like calling someone stupid because they make a mistake that it was your fucking instructions that weren't entirely accurate. Maybe take a look at yourself there. It was infuriating to watch. Oh, your mom's precise. Okay, yeah, I can see that's a whole different philosophy, right? Like, and for some people, they have their reasons. I'm obviously not really precise. Like, I've been making this casserole for probably 40 years, and I didn't have a written recipe, but some people find security in having exact measurements. Some people feel like it's an insult to change a recipe, and so they're very precise. I'm not precise. I love that I have a compost heap. I would be, if I were to move into a situation where I was in a city, I would want to have that be somewhere that had compost options. Like, I think Philadelphia has one. Because I hate food waste. So this is another, man, it's been a bit. I'm going to look at how much time we have left in the casserole while I blabber. And get a trivet. Yeah, there's like 35 seconds. I've been watching One Piece, and Sanji is very adamant about not wasting food. You don't know when you're going to get more when you're on the sea. And I kind of love that philosophy too. I like to use things that other people wouldn't eat, and I find that that's ending up being some of my cooking streams too. I didn't realize how important that was to me, but I've been thinking about it a little more because Sanji, which, if you look at my Amazon wish list, it's not expensive, but I put a cookbook on there. I'm such a dork. This One Piece cookbook. Alright, let's check our casserole. See what it feels like. What it tastes like. How the texture is. And then we'll be able to throw the cheese on or not. So it's close enough to done. I'm listening to it. I hear it bubbling. Yeah. Okay. I grab a fork. I want to test for sure that the eggplant is cooked as much as I want. Now this rice, I use the jasmine rice because it's what I have in the house. I would actually recommend for the best results using like an Uncle Ben's converted rice. I buy that when it's soup season too. It really holds its shape better. holds its shape better when it's being recooked in something like a super casserole. Alright, I'm going to stir this up again. Now, as you can see from the sides, definitely don't do this at more than 350. It's cooked enough for me. You could, if you were gonna give it, if you want your eggplant broken down a little more, put the cover back on. You might add a little water if you want, and or tomato juice, and cover it for another like 10, but it's definitely not going to be more than that. I'm going to put my parm on top, just sprinkling about a quarter cup, and put this back in to brown up and cook just a little bit more. About, I think 10 is what I put on the written recipe. I wonder if my sister ever makes this. I think she might have asked me how a couple times, but if it's not in the cookbook, she probably didn't go ahead. It is really good. Like I said, my friend Lori was like, soy sauce and parmesan, what? I'm like, just trust me. It is really great. Like I said, the Uncle Ben's converted is excellent. I mean, the jasmine works too. Whatever rice you got, right? Brown rice would be good, but only for certain people, because some people hate the texture of it so much. I feel like I'd probably like it, or even an ancient grain, like quinoa would be fine, but rice is always what I've made it with. Maybe next time I'll try the frika. Have you used frika? Anybody out there, if you've ever used frika, let me know. I'm going to be experimenting with that before long. Okay, well, that, I put 10, yeah, minutes on that, and then we'll get it out and try a scoop. This also definitely, like, it's one of those the next day, so good. The flavors just continue to combine, so when you reheat, so good. Oh, 93rd Brain Challenge to rework leftovers. Good to hear. Yeah. I don't know where the food waste, because like they didn't talk about it, right? But my grandparents, like my grandmother was born in 1911, and they were very sensitive to a lot of things. Papa and her did well because he was an electrician for Mobil, but I know her sisters were, and her brothers, she was the youngest of 9, were very, very sensitive. Cleaning out Aunt Mamie and Aunt Anne's house was just like, they didn't trust banks, and so there were like silver certificates, like money that old, hidden in the backs of closets and stuff. And I heard a lot of stories about when rice and oats and stuff used to come in bags that were calico, like so that people could use them to make clothes. Sanitary napkins, they would just make them, wash them, hang them. Yeah, there was a lot of things that came out of living through a time of scarcity. And maybe, even though they didn't talk about it with food, I feel like maybe my trying to not be wasteful and that being inspiring to me with food is related to, my hungry time, when I didn't have any money and I was couch surfing, and my friend Jill let me move in, and because I could help her take care of the baby, and we would have a party and then take back bottles because they have a bottle bill in New York. We'd have a party that people could basically come use our house, and and leave the bottles, and then we would use the bottles to get diapers for the baby and get whatever food we could manage. I did get food stamps after a little while, but I remember eating rye bread with onion dip on it. I'm surprised I don't hate onion dip. And a lot of rice, stuff that we could get at a local food pantry. And why I feel like stretching things and learning what to use in the pantry that'll last you a week instead of can of something that'll last you a meal has been kind of part of my mission to begin with. I think it definitely comes from having been hungry and had to stay that way. Let me tell you about the time somebody tried to mug me and all I had was a food stamp. It was funny because at the time I was still going to SCA practices. My friends would come get me. I was like really, really broke, but I was learning defense from these people in the Society for Creative Anachronism. And one of the fencing instructors explained to me how using an epee or a foil and those C motions and all the things I was practicing in parries are the same as knife work if you were knife fighting. And then some guy, when I was walking to the store one night, going down to the Wilson Farms, accosted me, and he had a knife. And I had a knife too. I guess I was carrying it around for protection. I didn't really, or I might have been carrying it around because it was my witchy knife. It was a little Pakistani steel dagger, with a wooden handle. And I reached in my purse, I pulled it out, I said, well, I've got a knife and you got a knife, but I know how to use mine. Do you know how to use yours? And I was very much counting on, he felt afraid to me. He felt desperate. And I understand that, but all I had was like 1 or 2 food stamps, and I was going to get a loaf of bread. And so I wasn't going to let him take it from me, which I would not advise. Nor would I say give people what they want, don't get hurt. But he ran away, and I got to get the bread, so I guess that worked out. Oh, TJ Maxx, when I got all my new spooky stuff, look what I found. Portland syrups splashed with your beverage mixers. They've got lavender, rose, and hibiscus cardamom syrups. I'm so excited. Just little bottles to be mix it with, sparkling water for a mocktail, or something boozy. I'm looking forward to getting really creative with those. Reminds me, I take a picture of that and send it to my co-host for Tipple Theory. And also, I've never had fleur de sel. Speaking of being poor and then getting fancy, they had fleur de sel. If people don't know what that is, it's a flaked sea salt, so it's like a finishing salt. You just kind of sprinkle on, a steak or whatever. And this was at TJ Maxx, because I'll look it up. The company is, where's the company? It just says fleur de sel. Sea salt flakes. Only ingredient, $4.99. And it's in a cute little, I will definitely reuse the salt cellar. 2.64 ounces. So this was a splurge for me. Dorsey Marketing Inc. In Saint Laurent. It's Canadian. So, yay. But I'll Google. My expectation is that, let's take a look at it. They changed the packaging or whatever. That's why you find such good stuff at TJ Maxx. Except I don't know what went on with. We can never find Melinda's there anymore. Okay, it's purple. They had a few different colors of these. If you want to go check your TJ Maxx to see if they have it. I'm gonna cut this label. Or not. It wants to be sealed. Okay. And of course it does. It's this wholesale seller. Yeah, they probably changed their packaging. This packaging is not ideal. That's okay. I can scrape that off later. I think. Oh no. Wait a minute. Okay, it will come off. For a minute I thought the wood wasn't wood, that it was a laminate that peeled off, but it's not. It's the label that's stuck. So I'll fry around with that and make it pretty later. Okay. Lovely, light, little, crunchy, melt in your mouth. Finishing salt. Fancy. Getting fancy. Okay, I heard the casserole went off, or the oven went off, which means 1 minute left. Let me take the cheese away and go fetch the casserole in a dish to put some on. Late lunch for me. Do a dish. Oh, there's the found the strainer I was looking for to wash my figs. I'm gonna get another spoon out. Oops, dirtying a spoon, but this wood one is going to be a far messier scoop for the sake of stream. Okay, you thought it looked yummy before? Sir. You could get it go longer or flip the broil for a minute or two and get that parm even browner. I will wait for it to stop bubbling and then scoop some up. I should get a picture. My light's being weird, so I'll get my light out. Oh yeah, sprinkle on tomatoes for sure. That's like Fleur de Sel. If it's an upgrade to your tomato sandwich, right? I got like 2 tomatoes from my garden. I might get a couple more. I'll actually be checking those today. I'm getting so many political spam messages right now. Okay. I wish I could describe. How do we describe the taste of eggplant? So, you'll see where I scooped it out, but it's set up pretty decently, and it will become more solid as it sits. As things do. I'm gonna put some in the container after it cools down to take to my friend Lori. I'm being selfish and not giving her the whole thing this time because my son Victor would be very mad. He really, really loves this this casserole. Hold down, I can get a picture over there where there's no light. And she's not, she's recovered from surgery now, and she's waiting for another surgery, and she doesn't really need to be feeding her kids. They should be doing some of this cooking too, so, right? Put my fork in there so you can see this is done. I'm going to turn it so that you can see that Parmesan is on there. Try to get some shadows off it. Oh, I can't wait to eat this. I'm excited. How do we do? 1:10. Not bad. Pretty much start to finish. I mean, a little bit more just because of cutting up the eggplant and starting to brown the ground beef ahead because of the stream where there was no sound. Oops. So hot. Yeah, that needs to cool down a little bit. It tastes so good, guys. I should run through this through a nutrition calculator if I can find one. And I would not fault anyone for giving a little more, like a little shot in the broiler, because these crispy bits on the side there, you know how that is, right? It's the magic. It's like the little bit of bird cheese on the side of a cheeseburger. So, yeah, there we go. Eggplant casserole from my family or my neighbor's family, somebody's family, but now to you. I wrote it down. So I'm going to add that to my file for my family cookbook. I really need to make myself invest in software for that, make it better. But join my Discord if you haven't. And you can find everything I do at 9of12.com. That's NINEOF12.com. Oh, and it's on my stream now, isn't it? Cool. But yeah, go there, find the Discord. I post the recipes there almost always. Even when, like this one. I didn't have a recipe, but I've been making it for 40 years. I probably should write it down, and you got to be here. I'm glad I could share it with you. Archives of everything are on YouTube when Twitch erases them. And I'll be back soon. Not sure what I'm doing next, but I look forward to cooking with you soon. And if you want to stick around a minute, we'll find someone to raid. Maybe. Who's up? Mary's Milk Monsters. Do y'all want to watch goats and stuff? Sand Experiment. Food. Oh, Eat It Dad's is on! Well, that's gotta happen. Folks, please stick around if you're here, even if you're just lurking, and go see Eat at Dad's. He's great. You watch him for a while and you get enough points and you can get entries to the cookie club. And I mean, I've been sent cookie club stuff like 3 times. Delicious cookies. The last ones were these Black Forest cookies. So yummy. And Rob even had one. And it had like a dark cherry on top. I couldn't believe he ate that. But he sends me cute little, like when you get cookie club, you get like stickers and like he hand writes a note. And sometimes he walks around Philly, which is where I learned Philly has a composting thing. Like, thanks for your support. He does recipe development and stuff. So, join Lou. And hopefully there's more than, just me and Nat. I think Rummy left. And if you make this, let me know too. I look forward to cooking with you soon.